So if you go to my courses, you can actually search for question, which is an easy search word for me to pull up those question papers. So if you look at this, then you have all of the exam question papers will come up. Only Chittoor exam question papers will come up. So you click on Samartha and you have every year 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one is Gadya Sangraha and Champu Ramayanam with Kaviji Vitani. Okay, and then number 2 is Kirata Arjuniyam and Neeti Shataka. 3 is Malavikaagnimitram and Veni Samhara. Okay, so you have Veni Samhara and Malavikaagnimitram. 4 is Dhatu Chandrika, Sarala Vyakaranam and Nibandhastapaka. Okay, so usually there are a lot of mistakes in it, and I try to send a corrected paper like this as much as possible. So let's I downloaded one. We will look at the 2024 paper, which is easier. Okay, so Champu Ramayanam, Balakanda, Gadya Sangraha and Kaviji Vitani. The first section is for 30 marks. Shlokatrayam Pratipadartha Tatparyadina Saha Vyakhyata. So Tatparyadina Adipadena, you can do whatever extras you want to write if you have time. So think about it, each shloka is 10 marks. So your Pratipadartham Tatparyam is up to Vichakshana level. You're fine. Now that you are in Samartha level, you have to write it in Sanskritam also. You have to have the practice of writing word by word. Pratipadartham also should be in Sanskritam. And then you have Tatparyartha also in Sanskritam. If you have Visheshaha, under Visheshaha you can have 3 subtitles, let's say. So the first will be Pratipadartha for each shloka, then Tatparyam for that shloka. Then you can put one category heading called Visheshaha, where you can do Vyakarana Visheshaha and then Alankara Visheshaha, or just Visheshaha. Under that you can give some Vyakarana Vishesham if you want. Or like for example in the shloka, let's say Asti Prashasta Vibhavaihi Vibudair Alanghya Lanka iti nama Rajani Chara Rajadhani Manikya Mandira Bhuvam Mahasam Prarohaihi Tejastrayaya Dinadeepa Disham Dishanti. So if you want, you can say Dishanti is in Shatrapratyaya Strilinga Padam, or Manikya Mandira Bhuvam, you can give the Vigraha Vakyam for that. Tejastrayaya, Tejasam Trayam, Tejastrayam, Tejastrayaya, or Dinadeepa Disham Dishanti. All these Dasham Dishanti in Rukano. Yeah. So you can try to give that kind of a Vigraha Vakyam or some Vyakarana Visheshas also here. Okay, Dinadeepa Dasham Dishanti Eva. So that becomes next. If you look at the Alankara section, you can say Dinadeepa Dasham Dishanti is a Nidarshana Alankara. So you can give a short note about that also with just 2 lines of it. If you remember the Alankara, then you can give that also. These are the Visheshas. If you know the Chandas, then that too. I think this is Vasanta Tilaka. So Vasanta Tilaka Vrittam. These are some of the points that you have to start working on, because it is Samartha. You are writing it completely in Sanskritam, and these are expected because you are learning Vrittam. You are learning Kuvalayananda also. Vrittam is actually in the 5th, I think, Kovida, but still. Still it doesn't hurt. Always I told you how even Alankaras you can mention in Raghuvamsha. Even in Abhijna level you could have mentioned Alankaras and everything if you knew. So in the same way, even if you have not studied Vrittam, and Vrittam you are going to study in the next, if you are able to identify the Vrittam, then write that also. So take it as something that you can work on. At least for the shlokas that are repeated in the different question papers. Okay. So in this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 shlokas given. Wow. Okay. Not much of a choice. So 4 shlokas are given. if you come up with, if you have Manishada Pratishtam Tom Agamaha Shashwati, it's the easiest. I mean, you have been studying this from Abhijna level, 2, 3, 4, everything. So this is the best topic for probably, and it is also there in Kavijivitani. So you can write this too. So take up something which is easy. At the same time, you don't make less of mistakes. Panditya Pradarshanartham Nasti Atra. You have studied well, yes, but you don't need to show and try to fail there. Instead, you can try to write more about something that you know really well. So there are 4 shlokas are asked. You have to write 3. Everything is in Sanskritam. Nothing can be in Tamil or English or any other language. Okay. Now this is
If we
30
write
marks.
lot, will we get less mark?
Konjam have some karuna towards the examiner also.
Yeah.
So they have to look through all of yours. They have to look through pages and pages of other people's also. So imagine, have one oru alavu vechikano. You know, as long as it has all the items that you need. Give some emphasis and do it. You know, for example, in Sasandarbha, I usually tell people to give the heading and, underline it like this. Granthollekaha, Sandarbhaha, Vivaranam. This is an example that I have, Pratipadartha. So as soon as you want to write the Pratipadartha, give a heading like this and underline it. So the examiner, it is pleasing to the eye and he immediately says, okay, this person knows what he's writing. Okay. So give such pleasing to the eye. Okay.
We don't have to write Pada Vibhaga and Vibhakti Vachana for every Pada.
No.
None of those. Okay.
It's unnecessary and you will be spending too much time on all those things.
That's where time.
The only thing that would be useful is to write Anvaya in the beginning.
Anvaya, okay.
So if Padacheda is, you don't need Padacheda because your Anvaya will have the Padacheda inbuilt.
Okay. And if we don't know the Vibhakti, we can't even do Anvaya. So
exactly. Right?
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. Vibhakti is more than Vibhakti. I would ask you to probably write things like this, Vigrahavakyam, Alankaras, and maybe one of these Shatra Pratyaya, Yat Pratyaya, something if you know, something like that. 1 or 2 is enough, So
not all samasas are also required, like
not necessary. No need. Let's see. Samparka Punyadiva irukkalya. So this is a Sankranta Varnantara Gadhi Sunoho Samparka Punyadiva Ramabhadraha Kshatra Kramat Pippala Danda Yogyaha Palasha Dandadrita Pani Rasit. Now here Palasha Danda Adrita Panihi seems like a big samasa here, right? Samasta Padam. So you can go more into those details also. There is Alankara is you have Palasha and Pippala. There is a Pakara repetition there. You can do Shabdalankaras. Go more. Don't think of this as a grammar exercise. Okay? Think of it as an Alanka Kavya text and you're writing a Sahitya paper.
Okay.
Give more importance to those kind of things.
And we don't need to do Ragnaha Purushaha, Raja Purusha, those kind of things.
Please, no need. No need. Not even Samparka Punyate. Even that is not needed. When it has more than 3 words, then it has some importance there. Okay. Otherwise, you don't need to give Vigrahavakyam. Only if you have nothing else to say about that shloka, then yes, you need to give Vigrahavakyam to fill up or at least show that there is some flesh in it, stuff in it. Yeah. So next is Chaturnam Samskrite Tatparyam Saprakaranam Vibrunuta. Chaturnam, so which means 8 are given and you have to write for 4. So Ramasya Padarajasa Prakritim Prapede, if you are lucky, the same shloka will be there here also sometimes. Please be aware. So immediately go and look at those shlokas, whether this same shloka is there or not. then it is very easy. You can immediately take up that shloka and write it. Otherwise, if it is the fourth line of a shloka, you will have to try to remember the content of the other three lines. You don't need to memorize the shlokas, but you have to remember what is there in that content. Right? Ramasya Padarajasa. So then, what is he talking about here? We need to know that, right? That Ahalya, so Ahalya, Dukkhe Sukhecha, Rajayeva. So even if you don't know the whole shloka, you should at least know that this is what the shloka, the rest of the shloka is. Right? Dukkhe sukhecha rajayeva babhuva hetuhu. Rajaseva tatra hetuhu babhuva dukkheva sukheva. Something like that. You have to remember the context of the shloka and where it is. Right? It is anyway, it is a sasandarbham vyakhyata, which means you have to remember the context. So you need all of these things here. So you need granthollekaha. What is the reference? From where, which text this has been taken? I think I have shared this before, even during Vichakshana exam, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, Sandarbha, the context has to be given until the line that is given for Saprakaranam Vyakhyata. And then you give the explanation for that particular line. Here, you can give Pratipadartha if you want, or you have to give an explanation of the entire shloka. See, in Gadya Sangraha, I took this because Kachit Yathagatam Margam Vetsi, Kachit Vetsi, this is just one line. So that line doesn't have big significance. Whereas if it is a shloka like this, Ramasya Padarajasa Prakritim Prapede, you need to give the content of the entire shloka there. To a certain extent, you don't need Pratipadartha there. You can say Tatparyam instead of Pratipadartha. Is that clear? Evam chet tarhi muncha shucham vetsi kachit yathagatam margam. See, that's what we are looking at. So there is an equal distribution probably of both Gadya Sangraha and Champuramayanam in this section, where 4 and 4 will be there, or maybe 5 and 3, we don't know. Mahati Kalu Iyam Anartha Parampara is from Gadya Sangraha, 4th lesson. And then Nasti Udaranam Ananu Gunadaranam, this is from Grihini Gunaha. Punyam Avapa Tamasa Nihantrim is from Champuramayana. Ramasya Padarajasa Champu. And then you have Lokananda Mukundasya Chitwarayeva Bahavaha is also Champu. Sarasija Daitayit Jyotishe Chandase Champu. Vetsi Kachityata Margam is Gadya Sangraha. Evam Chet Tarhi Muncha Shucham is also from Gadya Sangraha. Yeah? So you have 4 equally distributed. You can actually afford to just leave out one text in this section, is what I'm saying. If you read Champuramayanam really well, then you're set. So you will know everything here. Right? Extrava, there are other things that you may know, like Mahati Khalu Iyam Anartha Parampara is a beautiful line to know because it is Chandrapida and Shukanasa as Upadesha to Chandrapida. So that's a very nice line to know also and to write about. So it's a good one. And Madri, remember certain things that will be useful. Okay. So choice, I know, choice is the best. Look at the content, the length of your content. In the earlier section, each one carried 10 marks. Here, each one carries only 5 marks. See, it is 20 for 4. So, which means you have to write half of what you have written before. Don't write double of what you have written before. Okay, so there should be a sense of measurement with what you are writing with respect to the marks here. Okay, so that it's not too tedious again. So Sanskritam, this is also in Sanskritam. Now the next question is Chaturnam Panchashaihi Vakyaihi Samadhanam Likhata. Now again Chaturnam Likhata. So 4 into 5, this is also for 5 marks. Prepare these answers beforehand. Look at a couple of question papers, write down the often repeated questions and please write. They have asked for Panchashaihi Vakyaihi, which is 5 or 6 sentences. So you have to answer the question in only 5 or 6 sentences. Your 5 sentences can be like aham vanam gachhami, illana if you take grihini gunaha shakti kumaraha bharyartham atanna asta, tadanantaram kinchit griham agachat, tatra you don't need to write such small sentences and say 5 sentences are over, I am done with the lesson. You're in Samartha. You can't write Abhijna level sentences here. So Panchashaihi is just an indication, that's all. As long as you write this amount, this is the length of what you want for ERC, that is Sasandarbha. This is the length that you want for your question answers also. Okay, one page. Okay, 2 pages for the 10-mark question, or if depending on your handwriting, please, that is also important. You can't write big handwriting and say I am done. Vanda idella vandu koandala edra madri irukku. So these are questions that kids will ask in school, so have some idea about how you can write these things. So Champu Ramayane Ramagunana likhata with reference to Balakandam. When he says Rama Gunana Likhata, don't give gunas from Ramayanam. I know Ramayana, so let me write all the qualities that Konvasmin Sampratam Loke, Dharmavan, Sacha Viryavan. Don't start with all the Sankshepa Ramayanam that you have read or the Ramayana that you know. No, we want specific examples from Balakandam and write Ramagunas. Grihini Gunan Vishadayata. Again, Grihini Gunaha here, as with respect to Shakti Kumara, when he was searching for the wife, not only description of her Saubhagya Lakshana Yukta Bhavitavyasa, Tadanantaram, even with a little bit of grains, Prastha Shali Prasthena Pakam Kartum Shaknoti Vanava iti Tatra Uktam. So with respect to Dandin's Dashakumara Charitam and the section that has been taken in Gadya Sangraha, you will confine yourself to that. Okay, illana essay la nibandhastabakatla na griham uchyate grihini griham uchyate ityadi. Don't bring in your essay points here, please. Narapatehe Digvijaya Yatram Varnayata. This also is Dandin Dashakumara Charitam, which is there in the second lesson, is this Digvijaya Yatra, sorry. Digvijaya Yatra is the other one. 8th lesson.
The 2 brothers.
Vema Bhupala. Adane. Macha Bhupala, Vema Bhupala. Adu Vema Bhupala Charitathlenda vandirukar. Yes. Devaha Kidrisham Narayanam Sharanangataha. This is from Champu. Kshirasagara Mathanam Champu. Aryavartaha is again from Gadda Sangraha. Bala Atibala Namaka Vidye Vishadayata. This, if there is no content there, choice la udungo. Please don't take it and break your head over it. There are other things that you can write much more. Okay, Bala Atibala, there is nothing about Bala Atibala in Balakanda. If you know from Ramayanam, then yes. See, when I wrote this, not when I wrote this, I think I had read something about Jirimbakastra, Bala Atibala, whatever, all that is some real. You can't just constantly write and cook up some story and write. If you don't know, just leave it out of choice, because you have to write only 4 out of 7. You can leave 3. Leave out the ones that you cannot write anything about. Take up something that has a lot to write, because when you are writing the exam, nothing will come to your mind. Take it like that. So the more you know about it, the better it is, because at least out of the 15 sentences you have prepared, you will be able to write 5. Think about the worst possible situation and then make a choice. Okay. So this will also be the same as Saprakaranam Vyakhyata. The next one is
Kshirasagara Mathanam is 10th lesson, right?
Sorry. Yes, 10th lesson.
Okay.
Yes. Kshirasagara Mathanam is that. Now, I was thinking about Ramayana, where this comes in Balakandam. So, I got confused.
Okay.
Yeah. It comes in when Vishwamitra says the story in Balakandam in Ramayana, this comes Kshirasagara Mathanam. But it's not there in Champu Balakandam.
Okay.
Okay. Threen Kaveen Adhikritya Vyasam Likhata. Vyasa meaning essay. Okay, so Treen Kavin Adhikritya, they have given you 5 here. You have to write about 3 poets. You have a big choice here. Again, 10-mark question. Think about the first Pratipadartha Tatparya Vishesha Shloka explanation, how much you would have written. The same amount you have to write here at least. Or a little bit less can also be fine. But you have to write in Sanskritam. So 10 marks each. Okay, and the entire book is for 30 marks here. That's all. You have only 4 sections. So 30, 20, 50, 20 plus 30, 50. Over. This looks like the easiest paper, but you have to write a lot in this paper. Is it clear? Any questions about paper 1?
Yeah, always the first paper for all the exams need a lot of writing.
Yes, because it is Gadyam. That's why, Gadya. And you have shlokas to write also. They don't have questions, grammar portions, nothing is there here. It is only purely literature, purely sahityam. That's all.
For the Vyakaranamsha part, அது வெறும் அந்த பிரதிபதார்த்தம் தாத்பரியம் அந்த செக்ஷன்ல மட்டும் is it enough to give the Vyakaranamsham or like the விசேஷணம் சொன்னீங்க அது வந்து
that is a good idea also. So if you are, when you are writing the Pratipadartha, you can include the Samasta Vigraha Vakyam in that itself. So you don't need to give it separately in the Vyakaranamsha. If you have included it there. If you have not, then you need to do it separately. Yeah.
So we don't have to do it for the other sections, no ma'am, like the question answer all and
No. Idikalla eduvume venda. You don't need Vyakaranamsha for this unless there is a glaring Vyakaranamsha or something else like tamasam nihantri. இங்க வந்து tamasam is actually more yamakam இங்க அதனால இதெல்லாம் explain பண்றதுக்கு there are so many things to explain here. What is the, you don't need Vyakaranamsha here, like ananuguna dharanamke you don't need to write vigraha vakyam here. Vanda. Okay. Anything else? Any other question? Okay.